guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and dupe comparison video for you. I'm reviewing the Makeup Revolution Redemption Eyeshadow Palette Iconic 3, which is this thing right here. And if these colors look familiar to you, that's because this is basically a dupe of the Urban Decay Naked 3, which when I realized this, I was kind of skeptical. I'm not big on like dupe products because I don't feel like they usually live up to the hype of the high-end expensive product. But I tested it out. I think should already have a tutorial or get ready with me video featuring a look that I did with this palette. So I will link that down below as well as up in a card. But yeah, this is my review of this palette, obviously, and it's actually really good. I've mentioned before that the Naked 3 palette is not my favorite Urban Decay palette. It's actually probably one of my least favorite palettes that I own. This is it right here if you can't really picture it. I'm sure everyone can, but for those who might need a refresher, this is the Naked 3 palette, and this is the Makeup Revolution palette. They're really, really similar. Obviously, they're in a different form factor. The Makeup Revolution doesn't have a mirror. It's in cheaper packaging, but this packaging is better than the last Makeup Revolution palette that I reviewed for you because you can see the palette that's inside. I like when palettes sort of tell you what's inside. The Urban Decay packaging is great because each palette is unique. But this is good too because you can see right through, you can see the colors that are in the palette. That's great. Pigmentation in general on these colors is excellent. I do find with all of the Makeup Revolution palettes that I've tried so far, all their shadows, the shimmers and metallics are of a higher quality than the mattes, but I think the mattes in this palette are higher quality than the ones that were in the Unicorns Unite palette. Again, I will link that review down below and in a card if you haven't seen it already. But this palette is better than that one. That one was meh. This one is good. I do think that if you can't afford the Naked 3 palette, this is an excellent dupe for it, if not better. The colors are more pigmented. It doesn't have 3 shades that are basically just glitter. Like the Naked 3 palette, this one, and this one down here are all basically colored glitter powders that don't really have any pigmentation. You kind of have to use them as a topper or they don't really show up, which is unfortunate because they're really beautiful shades, especially Trick, this sort of rose gold copper shade. Absolutely gorgeous, but it doesn't show up. The corresponding color in this palette does show up and it's beautiful. So this is a really great dupe that I think actually improved on the original. If you've been following me for a while, you may know that I've already done a dupe video on the Naked 3 palette when I originally got the L'Oreal Le Nude palette 2. And that was another dupe palette for the Naked 3 that was probably about half the price. Naked 3 palettes are about $54, $60 in Canada. The L'Oreal palette is about $25, $28, something like that. This one I'm pretty sure is in the $10 to $15 range, and it is way closer to the actual colors in the Naked 3. Has the same number of shades and is more of an exact dupe than sort of like a copy like the L'Oreal one is. Not to say anything bad about L'Oreal, it was a very good palette and I will link the review down below and in a card. There's going to be lots of links on this video, but I like this even better than the L'Oreal too. I will swatch a couple of the colors and compare them for you, but I'm also going to be doing product shots, like good quality product shots on my blog. I will have a link to the blog post down below so you can see all of those side-by-side swatches, but I'm going to swatch a couple for you now. So my favorite color in the Naked 3 palette is the shimmery black at the end. It's called Blackheart, and it's basically a black with sort of a purpley red shimmer to it. So that's the Naked 3 one. So the corresponding color unfortunately does not have a name from the Naked Revolution, but that's it right there. It does have a little bit of extra dustiness. This is the Makeup Revolution, this is the Naked 3. But as I'm sure you can see, they're very, very similar colors. If anything, the black in the Makeup Revolution is blacker. I also think it's a little more intense. This is the Makeup Revolution and this is the Naked 3. It's a little more metallic, a little less shimmery. It's very, very similar and gorgeous pigmentation. Let's see that color that I complained about before. So this is Trick. Kind of just a coppery, glittery color. It swatches better on the finger, of course, than it does on the eye. But here's the corresponding color in the Makeup Revolution. So that is the Naked 3 palette, and this is the Makeup Revolution color. It is just more pigmented. Makeup Revolution, Naked 3. It is more pigmented and more metallic, and it is just gorgeous. It's such a pretty color. It's a little more copper and a little less rosy, but it's so similar that if you did somebody's Naked 3 tutorial using the Makeup Revolution palette, it would turn out perfectly and you wouldn't know the difference. Let's swatch the lightest colors. So this is Strange from the Naked one, which is the light white creamy color, and this is the Makeup Revolution swatch. Again, like I said, the mattes are not quite as good in the Makeup Revolution. The Makeup Revolution is not quite as pigmented as the Naked, but it is still really good. I totally think it would still function as a good highlight. It's not quite as stark white, but I think it's really, really similar and really workable. Oh, one difference that I actually really appreciate in the Makeup Revolution palette are these two matte shades right here. In the Naked 3 palette, these are pink toned shades. These are the dupes for Limit and Nooner. This would be Limit and this would be Nooner. But these ones are more grayish taupey shades without that pink undertone, whereas the colors in the Naked 3, these two right here, definitely have a weird pink undertone that limits their use. They're very hard to make work if you aren't using them with the pink tone colors that come in this palette, which might be fine for you if you have a lot of pink tone colors, if you really love this palette. But I find that these two are a lot more versatile. So I'm just going to swatch Nooner for you beside the Makeup Revolution. So this is Nooner from the Naked 3, and this is the dupe color. This one is definitely not quite a dupe. It still has a pinkiness to it. This is the Makeup Revolution shade, and this is Nooner. This one's a lot more pink. This one's kind of got a dusty gray lilac shade to it, but it's a lot more usable. Sorry, that was Limit, not Nooner. This one is Nooner, and this is the Makeup Revolution equivalent. As you can see, the deeper one there is Nooner, and the one above it is the one from the Makeup Revolution palette. But they're close. They're really close, especially if you didn't put Nooner on this heavy, and it doesn't usually go on that heavy. So, again, very similar colors. But yeah, overall, it's just really impressive how good of a dupe these shades are and how some of them actually improve on the original. Last one I want to show you is another one of the dusty glittery colors. This is the one from the Urban Decay palette, the one that's sort of getting chalky and breaking up on my finger, and this is the one from the Makeup Revolution palette. They're slightly different colors again. Okay, first of all, it's impossible to get that kind of pigmentation on the eyelid. This more purpley one is the one from Naked 3, and this one is from the Makeup Revolution palette. They're very, very similar, but the pigmentation and the color payoff from the Makeup Revolution palette is, again, definitely superior. It's a really beautiful shade, whereas the oddly dusty purpley color from the Urban Decay palette is just weird and it's hard to use and it causes a lot of fallout, whereas I haven't found that from the Makeup Revolution. So yeah, overall, this palette is an excellent dupe. I would definitely recommend it. I will leave the price down below if I haven't already earlier in the video. But yeah, that was all that I wanted to say about this palette. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy this review and you found it helpful. Also, let me know if you've tried the Makeup Revolution palette and how you think it compares to the original if you've tried both. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to see more videos from me, and I will see you on my next one. Bye, guys. So today I'm going to be swatching for you the new NYX Cosmic Metal Lip Creams.